At the bottom of the African continent, there is a country nestled between the Atlantic and Indian Ocean, and this country is known as South Africa. South Africa has a very unique topography, ranging from the savanna in the Highveld to the wetlands and tablecloth of Cape Town. The city of Cape Town is world renowned and extremely unique. Last year, Cape Town was host to over 500,000 tourists all over the world, and it is not difficult to see why. Cape Town is the location of the iconic Table Mountain and the incredible views of Lion's Head, surrounded by beautiful ocean and only present in South Africa. Another unique aspect about South Africa is that it has 11 official languages. It is the only country in the world with 11 official languages. The GDP is around 400 billion in South Africa, and it is shared by a population of 60 million, which is roughly 6,000 US dollars per capita, a relatively low figure when compared to many Western countries. Economic inequality in South Africa is rampant and is made obvious by strips like this, which is located between Strand and Nomzamo. 80% of South Africa is populated by black people, but only 20% of the land is owned by black people. To make matters worse, the unemployment rate in Q4 was recorded to be 32.1%, and this was according to Stats SA. These figures, as sad as they may be, have been the bedrock and fuel that have emboldened opposition parties in South Africa to claim a seat in the national parliament. Please join me in this video while we explore the history of the Rainbow Nation, the current state of affairs, and what the future may look like after South Africa's most hotly contested election. Johan Anthony van Riebeeck, or better known as Jan van Riebeeck, was a Dutch navigator and colonial administrator of the Dutch East India Company. He became the first commander of the Cape when he first stepped on South African shores on the 6th of April, 1652. Cape Town is known as the Mother City, and it is dubbed so because it is the birthplace of colonial exploration in South Africa. But of course, no colonial story can be mentioned without the involvement of Great Britain. The British occupied the Cape in 1795, ending the Dutch East India Company's role in the region. By the year 1910, South Africa forms a union that is white governed and lays the foundation for the establishment of the National Party, otherwise known as the apartheid government. From the year 1948, strict rules are imposed on the people of South Africa, ranging from racial segregation to outright killing of children in the streets of Soweto. Major figures like Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, and Nelson Mandela call for an end to apartheid. Sanctions are placed, and eventually South Africa is gifted with its first democratic election on the 27th of April, 1994. The African National Congress, or ANC, win the majority vote with 62.65% of the vote, and Nelson Mandela becomes the first democratically elected president. South Africa goes on to wow the world with the spirit of Ubuntu, a term used to describe humanity of people. The Springboks, South Africa's national team, win the Rugby World Cup in 1995. Bafana Bafana, the football national team, won the African Cup of Nations in 1996, and this leads to the bid and eventual win to host the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. The World Cup that was held in South Africa was a spectacle that had never been seen before and still remains the only football World Cup tournament to be held on African soil. But not long after the World Cup, rumors of corruption and bribery at FIFA surfaced, and investigations had found that high-ranking FIFA officials had received payments from the South African government. Corruption has become the name of the game in South Africa, with state coffers being looted for personal gain or the gain of family members. Misuse of state parastatals like Eskom and Transnet has left many South Africans feeling hopeless and seeking for alternative parties to vote for in this year's election. The current ruling party of the ANC currently faces a real possibility of losing its majority in parliament. In 2019, the previous general election, the ANC only received 57% of the vote, and with new parties that have thrown their hat in the ring, the number seems to be under threat. 2024 marks 30 years of democracy in South Africa. On the 29th of May 2024, South Africans will be allowed to cast their votes for the party they wish to govern. Many hope for a greater future, many hope for employment, and many just hope that corruption ends. All that's left to remain is for the people to cast and to see who the victor will be.